Great news, everybody. If you want to self-publish a book with zero budget, you can. It's not the ideal way to publish, but zero budget self-publishing can be a viable path. How do I know? I did it. For science. Nah, just money was tight, to be honest.
No fluff writing advice. Cut the fluff!
The first major cost when publishing a book is usually editing, so you need to be willing and capable of self-editing your own book. I'm talking a developmental edit, a line edit, a copy edit, maybe even a final proofread. We'll come back to that one. Once you've immersed yourself, drowned yourself in editing, you then need to format your book. If you're just doing an ebook, which is a viable option, as long as you've included all the right headers and other formatting whatevers in your document, it's a simple conversion. However, a physical book requires a bit more attention. There are certain requirements and you want it to look pretty. You do want it to look pretty, yeah? You're not one of those unattractive book enthusiasts, are you? I may have been called an unattractive book enthusiast before, but for different reasons. After formatting, or possibly before if it's just an ebook, you'll need to proofread. So here's the one step where I highly recommend you bring someone else in. Not necessarily someone you pay, but someone with a sharp eye. So sharp they'll stab any errors right through the heart. That's sharp. So if you're unaware, proofreading is where you're trying to catch any lingering errors in the act of being erroneous. Yes, you should proofread your book too, but you should also bring in those fresh eyes, fresh off the eye farm. What? Of course, you'll write your own blurb, which is essentially a marketing page. Copywriting experience can help here, but whatever you write, you need to sell your book. What can you say that will make readers want to open it and start reading? The blurb is where you pull readers in before you close the sale with a slick opening, as slick as a salad, as the saying goes. Yep, that's a saying. And then there's cover design. For writers, this can be the hardest to DIY. I mean, you can use a design app to make something simple, but if you want a complex cover and you're not a graphic designer, well, AI can help. I don't recommend it, I did it, but I'd prefer to pay a living, breathing, sentient designer to create a cover. However, if you are going for pure zero budget, AI is an option. Results will vary. What's next? Oh, do you need an ISBN? In short, no. Also in short, sometimes. But that's a fluffy discussion for another time. If you are in a situation where you need an ISBN, they're not free and you can't just shoplift one. You wouldn't steal an ISBN, would you? Maybe you can 3D print one. Is that an option? Now you're ready to publish, which also involves printing. The zero budget option? Print on demand. Amazon offers this service, as do several other companies. It's where a reader orders a book and the printer prints it, you could say, on demand. Print on demand. I don't know, the definition's in the name. All right, the final piece of the puzzle, marketing. How do you persuade people to read your book? The no budget option, you need organic marketing or word of mouth. Can you spread the word without spending a cent? Can you grow a social media following of people who are eager to read your book? This is much easier and probably more common in the non-fiction space, but plenty of fiction authors pull it off too. If you don't do any marketing, your book will be like a tree falling in an empty forest. While it won't hurt anyone, it also won't make a sound. Your book needs to come crashing down on readers so they can't ignore it. That's how marketing works, yeah? Ideally, if you can outsource in the areas you can't nail with DIY, that's ideal. But if needed, you can go full DIY. But just because you can, it doesn't mean you should. I mean, sometimes you should, or should you? I don't know, you figure it out. Half the battle is writing the book, half is editing, and half is making sure people know it exists. You can accomplish any of these nonsensically fractioned tasks with either time or money. Such is life.